What does the MSI GT72S 6QE Dominator Pro G have under the hood? Well, this particular gaming notebook is based on Intel's Skylake architecture, which features a lot of new features, a lot of new energy saving features. This particular CPU that's inside this model is the Intel Core i7 6820HK processor, which base clock is around 2.7 GHz with a boost of 3.6 GHz. Now, the interesting thing about this particular CPU is it is overclockable, so overclockers will be rejoicing, but whether or not it remains to be a power play for this particular laptop, we'll be taking a look at that very soon. In terms of storage, this particular laptop has a 120GB PCIe M.2 SSD, which, as you can see, Windows 10 boots up in a very fast time. To complement this, MSI have included a 1TB mechanical hard drive for all the storage needs, such as games, files, and programs that you didn't want to put on the SSD. The laptop also features a SteelSeries full backlit keyboard, which is powered by the SteelSeries engine software, which is, in my opinion, pretty damn good. In addition to the 17.3-inch anti-glare PLS 1080p screen, the MSI GT72S 6QE Dominator Pro G features an NVIDIA GTX 980M, which also has G-Sync at 75Hz, as opposed to the standard 60Hz that you'll find on any sort of TN or IPS screen. Touch on some of the GT72S 6QE Dominator Pro G specifications. As previously mentioned, the CPU is the newly Skylake Intel overclockable i7 6820HK. In terms of memory, we have 16GB of 2133 MHz DDR4 memory split over two 8GB modules. We also have the NVIDIA GTX 980M 8GB GDDR5 graphics card, which obviously is a very beefy graphics card for a notebook. Storage wise, as mentioned, we have a 120GB M.2 PCIe SSD, which is the driving force of the operating system, which is going to be Windows 10 obviously. You're not going to find the laptop with Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 on anymore. And obviously there is a 1TB hard drive in there just for your files, programs that you ain't putting on the SSD and other things like that. The screen itself is a 17.3-inch FHD 1920 by 1080p PLS, which stands for plane to line switching. It is slightly better than an IPS with a around 10% increase in brightness. There is also increased image quality according to Samsung, who make these panels, and there is obviously a slightly better viewing angle than IPS, although IPS and PLS are pretty much identical. But it's nice to see companies like MSI using this technology.
Ready, aim, fire.
Keys on the SteelSeries keyboards, they feel exquisite, they feel good, they feel premium, they feel a lot softer to touch without as much feedback as you would generally get on a normal keyboard on a laptop. Now, this particular layout is in ANSI layout, which is generally for the United States of America, but I'm not gonna, twine about it not being ISO. It would be nice, but I can understand why they've gone with the MSI layout. We have a full HD 1080p webcam built onto the top bar of this laptop, perfect for those wanting to make Skype video calls, or of course wants to stream, as you can stream through XSplit through the MSI gaming app. So the MSI GT72S 6QE Dominator Pro G gaming notebook features quite a lot of different software tools that you can use. Now first, obviously, I'm going to be taking a look at the MSI Dragon Gaming Center. This particular app features lots of information regarding the likes of performance. So currently the CPU is using around 16 to 20% as it is idling. It also gives fan speeds, tells you the power plan you're on. You can obviously change that. You've got 3 different modes. So you've got comfort mode, you've got sport mode, you've got green mode. Obviously they do exactly what they say on the tin. We do have utilities, so you can access different utilities such as the GeForce Experience, the SteelSeries engine, where you can of course customize the look of your keys. You can change the LED color. You can obviously turn them off as well. A lot of people that I spoke to at LAN, they sometimes get put off by the keys. Now I don't know why. It's a bit weird, but you can have different settings, so you can set it and it sets up and it goes in real time, which is a very nice feature. So moving on from that, we can go back to the app, get rid of that, and we have instant play, so you can bind separate different keys to different games. So you can maybe say press like a specific key to launch a game. This can probably get a little bit tedious if you keep accidentally pressing keys, because I'm a bit of a clumsy clump. And obviously we have device settings, so you can turn off the Windows key, or you can turn it on, regardless, whatever you want to do. Next up we have the Namic, or however you want to call it, which is audio software for the MSI gaming notebook. It's predominantly been featured for quite a while now, but it's nice to see such a trying to think of how to put it, a comprehensive audio tweaker. So you can obviously tweak things like bass boost. You can turn it up, you can turn it off or on depending on your preference on audio, and you can change the different profiles. So you've got music, which obviously puts up the bass a little bit from the likes of movie, but it also gaming cranks the bass up. Things like explosions, gunfire in games will sound a lot more bassy. You do have virtual surround, which you can turn on or off at your whim. You also have microphone settings. Now you can listen to your mic like you can on through Windows. You can automatically calibrate it because there is a mic inbuilt in this particular laptop, and you can turn noise reduction off, turn the noise gate off, or just completely turn it off. You can also record HD audio through this particular software. It's interesting to see because voice recorder can be a little bit, how can I put it without upsetting Microsoft, can be a little bit crap. So it's nice to see that MSI have thought of everything. This would be sort of like a rival to a MacBook in terms of audio recording. You could technically record musical instrument audio through this. I would personally go with a dedicated mic, but you know, not everyone can afford, especially pertaining to this laptop being around $2,000 at the time of review. So it is a budget inducing laptop. Not budget as in it's cheap, budget as in it will destroy your wallet if you've not got deep pockets. Now, one thing I've found very disappointing about this particular notebook is it does feature an overclockable CPU, but there's no clear direction and guide on how to overclock it with any of the pre-installed MSI tools. Now, I even tried to install MSI Command Center, which is generally favoured for motherboards, just to see if there was any kind of support. But as you can see, there's no support for this particular motherboard so far that's in this laptop. So one way I found of overclocking it, and I wouldn't generally recommend it, is via Intel's Extreme Tuning Utility, or XTU as it's generally called on the overclocking scene. Now you can obviously agree, I've agreed anyway. Now as you can see, max non-turbo ratio is 20 times 27. So as you can see in CPU ZT, we've got it's roughly around 3.2 to 3.6. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that this particular chip can be overclocked, but I wouldn't recommend you doing it yourself, especially without any particular keyframe of being able to do it via MSI's method, which is currently non-existent, which is a bit of a pain in the backside if you ask me. So if I can show you the overclock. So I've applied the overclock. As you can see in CPU Z, the overclock has applied. It's around, see, it boosts it up to 4.6 gigahertz there. It's something we don't really want. Don't want to make it unstable. It's pretty unstable as it is. So if I dial it down to 3.8 gigahertz, it will run at 3.8. Now this is the only known way that I am aware of currently that you can overclock this chip on this particular laptop. Now I am hopefully waiting for a statement from MSI. Hopefully this will be rectified. There will be a direction, because I fail to see the need in putting an overclockable CPU in a laptop that you can't overclock. It makes no sense. That's like putting, racing tires on a car and not racing it. It's pretty pointless, but as you can see, it is doable. 4 gigahertz, bang, CPU Z, 4 gigahertz. Well, 3,986 megahertz, but give or take. So if I just come out of here, that particular overclock's now set. Obviously, I will reboot this. But yeah, it's time to find out what I actually think of this laptop. Is it good? Does it perform well? Let's find out.